Today is National Spay Neuter Day, which gives us the perfect opportunity to talk about pet overpopulation. It is serious, all kidding aside. Unfortunately, in our city, there are far more dogs and cats being abandoned or placed in shelters that can ever find a home. And the recession, we think, only threatens to make this situation worse, with thousands more pets at risk being abandoned because their owners can no longer afford to care for them. Animal Care and Control, you should know, is a nonprofit that works with the city to address this problem. It continues to rescue more than 120 homeless animals each day. But with everyone, including city government, having to tighten their belts during this economic downturn, we can only take the next steps in this effort if we find ways to do more with less. And that's why today we're so excited to announce a new public-private partnership with the Toby Project. Named after this good-looking boy, right? Toby?
Correct.
Say something.
Speak,
Well,
Toby, speak.
Speak. Took a long time to train that. The Toby Project, seriously, is a great group working to reduce pet overpopulation by preventing the births of unwanted dogs and cats in the first place. It's the most humane ways to do it. As part of today's new partnership, ACC will be leasing the Toby Project, one of its more popular mobile clinics, for exactly how much? $1 a year. And that, I think, we can afford. In the past, ACC has parked these vans right outside its shelters and offered to perform spay and neuter surgeries for any pet that is brought in for $25 apiece. But now the Toby Project is going to send one of these vans right into the neighborhoods that have the highest rate of abandoned animals. And best of all, the Toby Project will provide these surgeries for free, a great benefit to owners who otherwise couldn't afford them. We expect this new partnership will help us nearly quadruple the number of surgeries we performed last year to 7,400 a year at no extra cost to the city. Talk about the perfect example of doing more with less. The Toby Project has already done a few test runs in the South Bronx, and this morning we're excited to have one of the dogs who received a surgery. She is a Chihuahua named Laika, and she is here with her owner, Patricia Castillo. The dog gonna say anything? Probably not. Chihuahuas are notorious for keeping their thoughts to themselves. The van will be back in the streets this Friday at East 182nd Street in the Bronx, right near one of the entrances to the Bronx Zoo. And you can call 311 for more details or visit ACC's website at nyc.gov. You should know that operating one of these vans cost up to $500,000 each year. So the Toby Project is making an incredible commitment, one which brings us closer to that wonderful day when we no longer have to put down any homeless cats and dogs. We're making progress towards that goal every day. In fact, in January, ACC anesthetized the fewest number of animals ever in a single month, and that's a declining statistic we hope continues. And since 2001, the number of pet adoptions out of ACC shelters has increased by 83%. And that's a great achievement and a tribute to all of the hard work by all of the rescue groups and shelters that makes the Mayor's Alliance for New York City's animals. But we won't solve the animal care problem through adoptions alone, and that's why we're making this big push to increase spaying and neutering. All New Yorkers can do their part by making responsible pet owners and by being responsible pet owners and making sure that all their pets are licensed, vaccinated, and spayed or neutered. So keep your eye out for the Toby Project's mobile clinic. The ASPCA also operates a similar service. And if you do decide to adopt from any of the city shelters, and I strongly encourage you to do so, the animals will have already been spayed or neutered and received all their shots. And shelters really are a great place to get a pet. In fact, my daughter George recently adopted a dog named Hugo from a shelter. And I can tell you, having spent Thanksgiving with Hugo, number one, Hugo eats a lot. And number two, Hugo is a great dog to roll around with and play on the floor, and the kids absolutely loved Hugo. I also want to mention that if you ever think you can no longer keep a pet don't just let the animal out in the street. Call 311 before giving it up. There are a number of adoptions, and the city is always there to help. The vet is Dr. Andrew Kaplan. He is considered one of the best veterinarians in town. I know that because Toby told me that. And his chance encounter with Toby in one of ACC's shelters led to the dog adoption and the founding of the Toby Project. And Toby says, "That's great. I'm glad he did it." Right. Andrew, want to say a few words? Hi, Toby.
Thank you, Mayor Bloomberg and Charlene Pedroli.
Want me to hold him?
Sure, please. I might bark at you. I adopted Toby 7 years ago from one of New York City's AC&C shelters. And for every one of Toby, many more don't make it out of the shelter alive. And this has been the inspiration for me to act on behalf of those animals who are not as fortunate as Toby. In this economic climate, we're all too familiar with the concept of supply and demand. And when it doesn't work for people, it means people lose money. But when the supply of dogs and cats exceed the demand of homes, it means they lose their lives. And there's no way to sugarcoat this. For decades, shelters across the country are trying to solve the pet overpopulation problem by adopting as many animals as they can and unfortunately killing those that they can't. And for decades, this means of solving the problem has failed. It is a well-known fact now that the only way to effectively solve the pet overpopulation problem is to prevent the existence of these dogs and cats. To prevent the existence of these dogs and cats before they exist in the first place. Named for my dog Toby, the Toby Project. Named for my dog Toby, the Toby Project will be attacking.
He's translating into dog right now.
We'll be attacking the pet overpopulation problem at its source. We'll be bringing spay and neuter services into the communities that need it most and providing this service for free. Right, Toby?
Toby likes it. Toby likes cats.
So we are thrilled. We are thrilled today for this announcement of our partnership with New York City's Animal Care and Control.
Dunzo.
We're thrilled to be making this announcement of our partnership with Animal Care Control so the Toby Project can join the efforts of other organizations like the ASPCA and Mayor's Alliance for Animals so that we can end this vicious cycle of unwanted births and unnecessary deaths. What I'd like to also do is encourage those of you to avoid breeding your dogs and cats, and when looking for a dog or cat, look to a shelter rather than a breeder. After all, New York City is a place where we solve our problems by working together.
Good.
Thank you.
Be happy to take some questions. Yes, miss.
How can people make a donation to the Toby Project?
How can people make a donation? Well, they can make a donation to
You can visit the website.
Visit the website.
TobyProject.org.
TobyProject.org or call 311.